Good morning and welcome to my garden. As you can see, it is another glorious sunny day in London. So I'm just about to head up to the plot for the morning, but I wanted to show you what was going on here in my garden before I did that. So as you can see, my foxgloves are starting to come out and they are looking absolutely stunning. My peas are starting to flower as well, which is good. These are the asparagus peas, which I've never grown before, but I found at the garden centre. But the flowers are they're sort of an orangey red. They're so pretty. I've just watered everything. But I'm just really impressed with those flowers. I think they're lovely. And all my strawberries in this bed are looking fantastic. Just waiting for them to ripen now. There's lots more coming as well, all the way along this bed. The greenhouse is a lot emptier than it has been because I have planted a lot of it down the plot now. So I've still got my cucumbers left in here. I am going to pop these on later on today. I've still got all my chilies in here that I planted this year, and also chilies that I've overwintered, which are all now starting to flower. And I've got my beans in here as well. These are my climbing French beans. These are my dwarf beans, they're just starting to come up. And these are the pumpkins that I sowed a couple of days ago. Look, they're all coming up. Amazing. And I've got lots of little seedlings, flowers. These are marigolds, but I've got lots of them potted up everywhere. And I've also got some spare tomatoes. But apart from that, everything is now down the plot. So I'm going to take you there now and show you what I've been up to. So here I am. It only takes me a couple of minutes to get round here. So I'm here already. It is such a nice day. I can't wait to spend a bit of time down here. And here we are. Let me show you what I've been up to the last couple of days. So if I start in the polytunnel, you can see it is a lot clearer in here. Most of the overwintered crops have now been taken out. I've just got a few bits left in. So I've got some kale here, which I'm leaving in for the next couple of weeks to harvest the rest of these lovely leaves that are growing. And I've left some spring greens in as well. For the same reason, I'm going to be harvesting these leaves for the next couple of weeks. I've got a lot of tomatoes now planted in between the garlic. And at the moment the tomatoes are quite small, so it's absolutely fine to be in between garlic and kale and spring greens because they're quite small. By the time they get a little bit bigger, all of that will have gone. The garlic is actually nearly ready to harvest. And here is the garlic here. It is doing absolutely amazing. If you dig down, you can see how big those bulbs are, and they will be coming up very shortly. Once I've harvested the kale and the spring greens, they'll be gone as well, and there'll be lots more room for the tomatoes to grow. And this side, when the garlic comes up, this is going to be where my cucumbers go. The mini polytunnel, I have still been harvesting these lovely greens, so I'm going to keep these in here for the next couple of weeks, keep on harvesting. I've also been harvesting the seed pods because you can have them in stir fries and salad and things. They're absolutely delicious, and the flowers as well. But when these do come up in the next couple of weeks, I'm actually going to be planting some courgettes in here. So I've got lots of different varieties of summer squash, and they're all going to go in this mini polytunnel this year. Talking of courgettes, they're already starting to flower in the polytunnel. Let's go and see how the ones outside are doing as well. So they're starting to flower as well. My peas in this bed are looking really good. They're all actually starting to flower, which is really exciting. Mystery potatoes in here doing well. These are the ones I've obviously left in previous years, but they're all coming up nicely, so I'll definitely get some sort of harvest. I'm not sure what they are, but it'll be a nice surprise, I think. And the Sarpo mirrors and Sarpo unas are coming up in these beds really nicely as well. I've got my broad beans growing really nicely in the background here, and there's actually some potatoes in there as well. Let me take you into the fruit cage. I did a lot of weeding in here in the last couple of days. Carrots growing nicely here. Gooseberries. Lots of lovely fruit on the gooseberry bush. Very healthy looking. Currants on the currant bush. And the raspberries have spread out nicely in this area as well. Look at those blueberries. I've got 2 blueberry bushes absolutely laden with blueberries. Very exciting. I've then got the 2 beds of different broccolis. I've got one here, which is in the bed where Vince made a cover from piping and old net. So that's that one. They're all growing up really nicely. And then the other side of me, I've got the frame that Vince shortened, and they're all growing nicely in there as well. All in all, everything is looking really, really good for this time of year. I'm over the moon with how everything is. The only thing I really wanted to get done today, and I've got a couple of hours to do it, is just get some tidying up done. So behind me, as you can see, I've got a lot of weeds growing through the wood chip. So there's just patches of grass here, there and everywhere sort of growing through. So I'm just going to pull that up. And I'm going to give all the beds a bit of a weed, because some of them have got quite a lot of grass and things growing in them, and the dreaded bindweed coming up everywhere, as it always does. Look at this lovely foxglove. I've also got a couple of beds to weed. So there's an oregano in there, but the rest of that needs to be weeded. And just a general sort of tidy up. I think sometimes you just need that little bit of time just to spend not actually doing anything like planting or any specific jobs, but just going with the flow and starting at one end, sort of doing a bit of weeding and seeing what else needs doing. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I've just weeded up here and taken away a lot of the little weeds that were coming up, but I'm thinking it is just going to keep happening. We haven't got any more wood chip at the allotment site at the moment to fill it up with. So I'm thinking what I could do is over here in where I've got the potatoes, some nasturtiums have come up. So I'm thinking of digging up those nasturtiums from this bed and planting them in the space on this corner. And then that will just cover up that ground and reduce the weeding, I think. It's worth a go, right? So I've just watered those nasturtiums in. Hopefully they do well there. It's worth a try. I think that could help with the weed situation there. I'm just going to carry on now along this way, weeding in between the beds. So I've now done this whole sort of corner, I'd say half actually, of the plot, just going round, pulling up the sort of grass that's growing in between. I've done the best job I can because the ground is really, really dry. So it is not easy to pull it up, but I've done my best. It looks much better than it did. And I think that is actually the key to a lot of these things. It's little and often, and if I do the same next time I come down, there'll be less again. So I'm just going to try and keep at this. I've been trying to do this the last couple of weeks actually. When I come down, just spending a bit of time just weeding, just you know, a little bit of upkeep, because I think sometimes I get a bit of tunnel vision. This needs to be done, that needs to be done, this job needs to be done, that job needs to be done, when actually it's just the upkeep sometimes that really does help. So I'm really pleased with that. One more thing I want to do though before I go. I just want to have a little tidy of this area. So these poles in here, if anyone's been watching me for a while, know that this was my old bean frame. I'm giving that to my sister for use on the allotment that she looks after with her mother-in-law. And I'm just going to tidy this up a bit. There's quite a lot of grass growing through and bindweed. It shouldn't take me too long because it's actually not that bad, but it's one of those things that if you leave, it gets worse and worse. Doesn't that area look so much better now? So this compost I've already turned once. I put it, this is my system, I put it in this one, I'll turn it into here, and then eventually I'll turn it into here. This one is now ready to be turned into here, so that's its final destination. This one can now be turned into here, and I can start filling this one. So these two are both actually full. So that's my little system, and it looks so much better now. The weeds are pretty much all gone. Some of them, I'll just show you here, they're not even like in anything, so you can literally just pull them out. I mean, because there's the polytunnel plastic under there. So I'm literally just pulling them out and just leaving them on there. So some of the green you can see is actually where I've just done that, but I did the whole way along and up here. And if we just go round, it looks so much clearer. There's still a lot to do, but isn't there always? I've got the wheelbarrow here now. And yeah, what a lovely day to spend down here. I've just got one bag here now to take to the bin. So that's another thing that I've been doing. I've just been taking a bag, a carrier bag, an old compost bag, whatever it might be, and just filling it as I'm here with rubbish, and then taking it, because sometimes it just mounds up, doesn't it? And you end up with loads of rubbish and you think, I need to do a dump run, when actually, if you do it little and often, you get rid of it really quickly. As I was going around as well, I found all these plastic bits in the ground, so I've piled them all up here. I'm going to pop them in the bag as I walk past and put them in the bin with them. But apart from that, I've had an absolutely glorious day today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon.